All right, so this is my neighbor Steve. He brought over this tool to do the bearings on the MR2's hubs. It's called the Hub Tamer. Thank you to whoever it is at your work that Dan at his work that owns this thing. So we're gonna show you how this thing comes apart. So we got the cup here. It goes over the back side of the bearing and presses against the hub. And you got your other piece there. It's like a big washer kind of. And you basically draw the bearing up through there. And this gives you space for the bearing to come through.
Okay, we use the big one.
So we're gonna tighten this bolt down and that's gonna push the bearing through and suck it up into that cup there. Okay, you ready?
Yep.
It.
A little more.
There it goes. That is a heck of a lot of force to get that thing out of there.
Took off the
dust. Oh, took off the thing. Yeah.
That's why it's fighting. But
woo!
Here. Just make sure
it's pretty warm.
It is, yeah, it's warm.
Yeah. Oh, you ready?
Yep.
Okay, so now we have our new bearing. All right.
We got this one.
We got the perfect
so it fits right on the
fit.
lip.
Yep.
Now we got to figure out how to hold it on the back. It's got to be able to, I guess, we're just flat on that one.
So we decided that it would be easier just to put the thing in the press since that side of it's flat. It's much easier just to put it in the press and press the bearing in.
There it goes. Once you get her going.
Once you get her going, yep.
Sweet, 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 sweet. There you go, straighten.
Alright, so at this point it's just getting that big snap ring back in there to hold the bearing in, and then we use the Hub Tamer tool to draw the hub into the bearing, and it went on quite easily.
2 hubs.
2 hubs. Man, it sure helps to have the right tool sometimes. Good morning, everybody. We are working on the MR2. Last night we finished up the shifters. Or yesterday we finished up the shifters, and then this morning I've been working on getting stuff buttoned up, like getting this intake back on. I had to redo this mount here, but that's all good. Now, so the last big hurdle to getting this thing driving again is getting this these hubs on here, which last night my neighbor came over and we pressed in the new hubs and bearings. Well, pressed out the old ones and pressed in the new hubs and bearings. These are from a Camry or a Solara. So, but these axles that are in here are longer. Even though an MR2 comes with an E153, and this is also an E153 transmission, these axles are longer because it's out of a Camry or a Solara. From what I've read, they're possibly an inch longer, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this hub on and I'm gonna see how far I am, you know, and I gotta account for a little bit of movement of the axle, but I gotta see how far I am from actually having this bolt up. And then we're gonna have to take all the suspension arms off and we're gonna have to widen them. Now, depending on how much we have to widen them, we may have to lengthen these guys, but we do have some adjustment down here. So we could possibly, if we have to widen this only like an inch, we can adjust that out an inch. And then same with these other links going this way, like that one right there. If we can get it loose, we might be able to adjust that out enough to make up for the difference. So if not, those will have to be lengthened as well, and those will have to be lengthened. But if you guys remember, on the other MR2, we ended up, the link setup is a little bit different than this one, but we ended up lengthening all 3 links on it, or all 6 if you count both sides. So that's on the agenda. We're gonna go ahead and we are going to get this bolted up. We're gonna see how much we have to lengthen these, if at all, which I'm pretty sure we do, and we're gonna start lengthening those links. Oh no. There we go. Woo. Oh, that's it right there. Okay. So, bottom bolt lines up as well. Want to give ourselves a little bit of travel. One of the reasons that I decided to go with these axles, the Camry axles, is just actually to widen the track width to give us longer travel, and eventually we're going to build a long travel setup for this. So we're a mid to long travel, nothing too crazy. Oh my goodness, this is a big difference. Okay, I'm looking at like so that's the bottom out. I'm thinking 2.5. That's a lot. That is a lot. 2.5 inches wider. Yep, that's what we're gonna do. 2.5 inches. Let's check this side. Yep, 2.5 inches. That's a lot. That's more than I was hoping for. I was hoping it was gonna be less, but that's fine. We'll get it done. 2.5 inches. We'll start with this arm. We'll pull it off. We'll widen it 2.5 inches. Same with the other one. All right, I finally have all of this together. The axles are in, all of the suspension links. I'm gonna show you guys. It still has to be aligned. Okay, that's it. So we got our extended links, that one and that one. The front ones are not extended yet. Hopefully, we haven't put the wheels on yet, so we don't know if they're in the center enough, but if they aren't, we'll pull them back off and we'll extend them, but I think they're gonna be fine. What else? But yeah, right now we're gonna go ahead and run this thing. This thing hasn't been run since we broke it at the sand dunes. So I went through, checked all the fluids. We got fresh 90 weight in the transmission. I checked the oil. We got coolant going in it. I just had water in there before, so I drained some of that out and put some concentrate in there. So we're burping that system. We got the batteries charged up and back in here, so we're gonna start this thing, see what happens. Hopefully start this thing. Alright, it runs. Alright, it runs. We are going to put the tires back on it, put it down, and see what its new stance is. It's going to be, since we got 2.5 inches on each side, it's going to be 5 inches wider, which is humongous. So, let's check that out. Alright, so we are not done yet. We are not out of the woods. I don't know why I didn't think about this too closely, but this camber right here is way too much. So we gotta fix that, and that's gonna, we're gonna do something. We're gonna make some tabs. We're gonna have to weld them onto the struts. But we're gonna make it work. We got a few more days. All right, calling it for tonight. So far, we've got both hubs taken apart, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna come in here with a big thick washer. We're gonna put those pieces of metal back in there. We're gonna jam this, or we're gonna shim this while it's on the ground until it is at the right camber. As you can see with that top bolt out, but the one in there, it hinges off of that bottom one. So basically we just have to hinge that out with the vehicle's weight on it till we get the camber that we want. We'll weld that big washer in right there with those spacers in there. We might have to weld those spacers to the knuckle, but it doesn't matter. It'll be there to, you know, provide the spacing. You should just put the spacer in there. So yeah, we'll weld that guy on there. We'll put it in there so that it actually provides support for the big washer that we're gonna weld on the outside there. So we're done for tonight though. All right, there it is. Camber is fixed. We got 100, or not 100, we got 1.5 degrees of camber, or negative camber. Can't remember, I think it's negative camber. 1.5 degrees of negative camber on there. That seems to be about perfect. I need to try and align this thing. I still haven't steered the rear tires to make sure that they're straight, or we want them actually just a slight amount towed in. So I got to work on that, but this is looking very promising. This is really good. So the next thing I need to work on is getting the alignment dialed in front and back. Mostly just toe, I think, is the issue. And then I want to get these windows put back in. There's this right here. Here's my windows and my door seals and window seals and stuff. I'd like to get that stuff back in. It'd be nice to have windows in this thing. The other thing I want to do is get the heater control back in there, because I'd like to be able to have heat in here, you know, to defrost the windshield mainly. But yeah, this thing is finally coming together. We actually have, today is Wednesday, tomorrow is Thanksgiving. Leaving next Tuesday, so we got what, 6 days, 5-6 days to finish getting all the little stuff dialed in on this, and I got to do a couple stuff to my truck before we leave. But yeah, things are looking really good. This actually went fairly smooth compared to what I thought it might happen. But yeah, I'm gonna give this thing a little test drive and see how it does with the new transmission. So if you look in this video, you can tell the shifting pattern is actually backwards still. The first gear is where reverse is, and reverse is where first is. So it's going to take a little getting used to. There's no way to actually flip that shifting pattern around unless you brought the cables in from the other way, which is pretty much impossible. So another hurdle that we're going to overcome in the future, if we can get around to it, is getting this thing to actually shift with the right shift pattern, which is going to require some hard to find parts. Good morning, everybody. I've been out here working on some small ends and ends with the MR2. We got these window seals installed. I don't have the door seals apparently, but that's fine. I don't really care that much. I just want the window to be able to go up and seal against that so that we don't have the window like rattling. And maybe we'll pick up some door seals eventually to help keep the dust out of here. But for now, that's good. I got this third brake light installed, and I'm super happy that that actually works. So yeah, third brake light works. I was gonna try and get taillights hooked up, but I don't have the harnesses for these. There's like a small harness that has all the bulb sockets that attaches to the actual brake light, or the taillight housing that attaches to the taillight housing. and runs through here and into the trunk and attaches to the factory harness, and I don't have either of those harnesses, so it sucks. I was hoping to have some brake lights, but it's not 100% necessary. But we do have one. We have the little one, so that's something. Another thing we're gonna do is we're gonna get the headlights in here, and hopefully those work. The pop-up part does work. Let me show you that real quick. So I didn't have to do anything to make that happen, which was awesome. So I have the trim rings for those, thankfully. And we're gonna go at some point and get some bulbs for this. And then I've been flushing out the power steering fluid because that has some seriously nasty fluid in it. So we're gonna go get some good power steering fluid. We're gonna drive this thing again. One of the things I've been working on is the alignment, and you know, it's just a garage alignment with a tape measure, but I think this thing is a lot closer to where it needs to be. Before it was, who knows? I'd love to get it to an alignment shop, but I don't think I have enough time to do that. So we got the garage alignment set up, and hopefully that works for us for now, until we can get it actually aligned for real. So yeah, the last thing I'm going to work on, I'm going to see if those, if at least the driver's side visor fits in there, but I don't think it's gonna. But we're going to get these windows in. This is pretty much the last thing that we got to worry about, and we'll be done. Serious flat spots. All right, there we go. We got headlights. And that means that I am done with this. I gotta give it a bath, but then it is ready to go on the trailer. We got windows in it. We got our new tranny. We're 5 inches wider. This thing has come a long ways in the last week or so. Yeah, about a week and a half. So yeah, we got our alignment on. We're ready to go to Vegas and hit the track. All right, that's it for this one. We are headed to Vegas for the Mint 400. We're doing the HooptieX race there. We'll come back at you next time with some footage from that. It should be a blast. Thank you guys for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.